Welcome back to We Are Tottenham TV for the pre-match therapy session on what is probably Tottenham's biggest game for as long as I can remember. Forget the Europa League final. We are fighting for survival tonight. The results last night were nearly as bad as they could be. Forest getting a draw against City and West Ham beating Fulham, something that we weren't able to do. But we would do
it. There was good reasons for that.
Yeah, they did rest a lot of players, but we'll do
our best. They rest nearly the whole bloody team against West Ham.
Am I going to be allowed to get a word in edgeways here on watching both? But we will try and pump you up the best we can, and if not, then we'll all be miserable together. But I'm joined as always by the chatterbox Jimbo, and also by Mr. Dermatron from THFC Till I Die. Jimbo, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Optimistic about tonight.
Good. We like a bit of optimism. We need it. And Dermatron, how are you doing? How are you feeling?
I'm that excited. I was due to go tonight and decided not to go. That shows how confident I am we're going to get a win. Of course, we're going to win tonight. We're going to batter them 3-0. We're going to banish the memories of last game. I went there this time last year, actually, to Palace game. I went to that game. And we're going to banish the memories tonight. We're going to get 3 points. We're going to go back to 4 points clear. And then we're going to stay in the Premier League. We're going to look back on this in years to come thinking, wow, what a terrible time after winning the Champions League.
Can you imagine?
Could you imagine us winning the Champions League? You won't see me and Jim for dust.
No.
We'll be the first Irish and Englishman to be on the moon. That will guarantee that will happen.
Big up to everyone watching on We Are Tottenham TV and also on Kate and Jimbo. Big up to Gary Ball, who's just become a new member. Big up to Drula, who's been a member for 13 months. And also I saw someone else pop up, Moondog, who's been a member for 2 months as well. Good evening to everyone in the chat. Moondog coming straight in with a super chat saying good evening, and I'm scared, but I'll take a 1-0. Yeah, I'll take a filthy, dirty, stinking 1-0 where we absolutely stink the place out, get the luckiest goal ever, but nick it. Because it don't matter how we get there, we just need those 3 points.
Where did Gary become a member?
On our channel.
Oh.
So thank you. But yeah, I can't say hello to everyone individually because already 260 in the house. But big up to everybody. Thank you for joining us. Do smash a like as well, please. Massive game tonight, Jim. It can't be underestimated just how huge this game is. Christian Romero still suspended. Lacroix is now suspended as well for Crystal Palace after he was sent off the other day, which means that we're both without key centre-backs. So experts are expecting defences to be exploited and lots of goals tonight. What do you think? Do you see this being quite an open game, or do you think it being more cagey? You know, Crystal Palace could quite easily get dragged into this relegation battle as well.
I'm expecting the manager to put round pegs and round holes tonight. We've got a squad where he can put people in the right position. All right. Now we've got Danso back and Porro. So if he plays the players in the right positions, I think we've got a massive chance of winning tonight. But if he does a mismatch like he did the other day, I think we're going to be in trouble again, Kate. If you want to know the truth, we need to start stripping back and going back to what it should be. You know, not trying players in places where they don't belong. It's too crucial now. Now, I don't think Tudor is an idiot in any way whatsoever, right? So I think that he's had the first 2 games. I think he's going to have learned a lot and get it right tonight.
Yeah. Big up, Harry. Good to see you. How are you, young man?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Thank you so much for having me. Hopefully, win tonight because it has to be. It's a massive game. It's in our own hands. We're the ones who are in control. We need to step up when it matters.
Yeah, Moondog coming in with another super chat saying I'm going for a Johnson own goal. If he scores an own goal, does that mean we can sing Johnson again? Ole ole. Look, like I say, I'll take it however it comes. Jim doesn't run the show. He doesn't want to run the show, and God help us if he did run the show. But moving on.
Oh, if I run it.
Dermatron, a lot of talk has been about Tudor's appointment. A lot of people saying they don't understand it. It was baffling. Then there's been quite a few people over the last few days saying that they think if we lose tonight, he will go. Do you think he will stay to the end of the season come what may, or do you think there's some truth in that?
No, he'll stay to the end of the season. What's the point of sacking him? If you sack him tonight, right, say we lose, we're not going to lose, but if we did, playing devil's advocate, and then we sack him, then who are we going to bring in?
Yeah.
Should we have brought Harry in at the start? I think we should have brought Harry back. Well, I wasn't ready for it, but thinking about it now, maybe we should have done. He knows the Premier League. He knows the club. He knows what it means. But look, Igor's here. He's got a contract to the end of the season. And I think just leave him to it. He knows what he's doing. He's no fool. And the players can't respect him and get up for them, then it's down on the players.
Yeah, I completely agree.
It's down in these players, but no, Igor will stay to the end of the season.
I think a lot of people as well. I mean, how many times are we going to blame the manager? These players have let down so many managers. You've got to say, it's crazy to even think about sacking him, in my opinion. There is a lot of rumours tonight, Harry, that Kinski starts. So I have put this as my predicted 11. I don't know where the rumour started, but I've seen it on Twitter. I've seen it all over the place. Do you see Kinski getting a game tonight, especially after Vicario's save was nominated for Save of the Month, I saw today? Woohoo. Do you think there's a chance Kinski gets a game?
Pointless award, by the way. Let me just add that. Well, absolutely pointless thing. Listen, I just don't understand it at all. What matters in football literally is winning games, and couldn't care less. We had 1% of the ball, had one shot, and I say that every single season. I really don't care. I know fans want to play pretty football. Doesn't concern me at all. The result does, absolutely. I can get through anything. But the point is, when a new manager comes in, that's the element of uncertainty. And you haven't got Frank's not here, it's not going to be Vicario. You just don't know. Wouldn't surprise me if he did start. I don't think he will. I haven't seen that said on X, but I'll take your word for it that has been said. And I think it'd be the right thing to do. Unless he's catastrophic in training, I wouldn't see any reason for him not to, because Vicario, whether we like it or not now, is a liability. His position is horrific, and he's not good at all. So really, really not good. We need Kinski in goal, definitely. And there's some players that, for me, just have to start tonight. Those are Tell, they are Richarlison, they are Kinski, they are Sousa. Players like this, all for different reasons, whether it be heart, whether it be passion, whether it be quality, whether it be impact. They all have to be, those four for me have to be in the lineup. So absolutely, I like the team you put here. Kinski definitely has to be in goal.
Yeah,
Harry, you were saying the other day we're definitely going to stay up. Do you still think that?
Yes, I do think they would stay up, but only just. I think what I've been saying for a long while is that we'll stay up just by goal difference, and that I think I still feel the same. If I'm honest with you, I just look down the bottom and go, the goal difference is superior, but I just think they would be in it, Jimbo, till the very end. I think we'll be probably level on points, a point above going into the final day, which is none of us want that level of tension. I think we'll just about get away with it because that goal difference, I think, will be so key. But I'm definitely worried. I'm more worried than when I last spoke to you. There's no kidding about it. No beating around the bush. Ultimately, Tudor was brought in to make an instant impact and hasn't. Always going to be difficult against Arsenal, but you just hoped we could pick something up against Fulham, but we looked poor and we lost the game. So, yeah, I'm still sitting here. But let me just be crystal clear about this. No club's too big to go down, right? And it annoys me when people go to college that are non-Tottenham fans. Oh, you're too big to go down. You're too good to go down. And I say to them, we're the worst side in the league. And I genuinely believe that we're the worst, and by quite a margin as well, and that is concerning. So we're not too big, we're not too good to go down. I think we'll just about be okay.
Yeah, I mean, Jimbo, you and I spoke about the positives from the Fulham game. There wasn't many, but we did mention Tell and Richarlison. A lot of experts, again, people on Twitter, if you want to call them experts, and articles are saying that they're expecting Paulinho to start alongside Bissouma tonight and Gallagher to miss out. What's your preferred pairing there? Because I wasn't particularly impressed with Bissouma.
Gallagher and Paulinho, I would have preferred. But I'm not the manager, and I'm not some master tactician of football. So I'll leave it to Tudor to sort out. But if it had been me, I would have had them two in there. I think you'll get a lot of fight out of them two. But regarding going down, I think tonight is so important to get that 4-point gap. I feel very confident if we get the 4-point gap again. But if we don't, I'm going to be changing my underwear more often than I do.
Too much information. Big up Moondog says, my bet I put on, it was us winning the quad and it's gone. Do you know, Jimbo logged into his betting account the other day and he went, oh my God, my bet. I did a bet that we were going to win the league. And I was like, oh my God. And the worst thing is it's still showing and he's not even allowed to cash out. I can't think why. Dermatron, do you sort of agree with mine and Jimbo's thoughts that Tell and Richarlison were the two that sort of really looked like they wanted to fight against Fulham? And I kind of still feel that Tell is I don't want to. Look, I understand why people don't like him, but I still think that he's not been given a proper chance at Spurs and a proper run. I mean, I don't know how you see it. I get a lot of people criticising him, so.
I think he's a bit misunderstood, bless him. I do. I really do. I think he does care. And what I like about Tell, I always go back to it. The first time he went on against away to Liverpool, the first thing he did was shout at Sonny. Or you know, tell him, G up a bit. Come on. He's always doing that, isn't he? No, I would play Richie tonight. Richie also has experience of this while playing for Everton. And he was one of the players, one of the reasons why Everton got out of the trouble they did, I think, as well. So, no, Richie will fight. Tell will fight. I have to push back on Kingsley. I wouldn't start him tonight. I think if you start Kingsley tonight, then I think you're causing yourselves a whole lot of problems because the guy's got no confidence. He hasn't played this season. Only one game. You're putting him into a pressure cooker. And he might not be able to cope with the pressure. Vicario, yes, hasn't been great. Yes, his distribution's poor. But I'd rather have Vicario in there than Kingsley. Nothing against Kingsley. And if you're looking at next season, then maybe do change it for next season, but start him in pre-season. Give him enough game time. You know, do something. But tonight, I think it's too much of a
risk.
A risk, thank you. I couldn't think of the word. God, my memory's shocking lately. Too much of a risk. I know how you feel, Kate. I really do. It's too much of a risk.
Do you know what, Dermot? I thought you were going to say to put Kinky in goal, and I thought we're going down a different route here. If we started putting Kinky in goal,
but no, for me, you got to start Vicario, and I just if you do starts tonight, then if he starts with Kingsley and starts with Dragosin in the defence, then I'm sorry. I think we're in for a hard night.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, Harry, are saying this is a good time to play Palace. They're not exactly flying at the minute, but we haven't won a Premier League game in 2026. Both teams have scored in 5 of Palace's last 6 away matches. Palace have only lost 2 of their last 7. So although they're not in flying form, they're in better form than us. Are you feeling confident going into the game? I know that's a really horrible question.
No, it's a fair one. The answer is no, if I'm honest with you. I'll just be totally honest with you. And it's a must-win game, and we've had a lot of them this year. I can't remember one we won, maybe one at most throughout the whole season. We've been saying this for a long while, but make no mistake about it, this is crucial. Results went catastrophically against us yesterday. West Ham winning, Forest getting a draw, and whether it be, even if you don't think about Tottenham, think about Arsenal, you know, went wrong in terms of the title race as well. But mainly the most important thing is down the bottom. You know, we had 4-point cushion and superior goal difference. It's still tight, don't get me wrong, but it felt like we could breathe a tiny bit. No breathing room at all now. This is crunch point of the season, and we have to deliver against the Palace side, with little to no confidence, risking of ruining Gladyson's reign really at Palace and what he's achieved. And that sounds crazy to say, but there's a lot of unrest from the supporters. And I think if you speak to the majority of Palace fans, they don't want Gladson there anymore because of what he's been saying and just the way that he personally has dealt with it. Having said that, they've got more of a squad than we have. I can't believe I'm saying this. They've got a lot more options off the bench. They've got, for example, in the attack, I think their attack's easy 10, 20 times better than ours. I mean that with not only the 3 that they will start, but who they've got to bring off the bench. So that for me just means as the game goes on, Palace have got more to offer. So that is a huge worry. For Tottenham, I'm not confident. A lot of it depends on the lineup.
Big up Moondor with a super chat saying, is there any rule stopping us playing two keepers?
Uh,
Do you know what? I think we'd still be in trouble. But the lineup is out and it is Vicario. So all these rumours that have been circulating all day are a load of nonsense, as per usual. It's Vicario in goal. We've got Danso, Paulinia, Tell, Gray, Solanke, Porro, Sarr, Van de Ven, Souza, and Moani. And on the bench, we've got Kinski, Austin, Xavi, Basuma, Richarlison, Gallagher, Luisi, Kieran Martin, and Rosewell. So Jimbo Gallagher doesn't get a game. Gray looks like he is starting. Hang on, who have we got? We've got Danso, Porro, Sousa, and Van de Ven. So we're playing forward at the back. Yeah, so he's put Gray into midfield. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, he is a midfielder.
Yeah.
So it looks like to me he's going to put the round pegs in the round holes by that team. Look, it's going to be a hard game. What's Barry saying?
Nick is saying we moan when some should play and doesn't. We moan when they don't play. Let's get behind them. Yeah,
100%. I say it every week with the players we've got available. Right, for me, it's a much. There's not a lot of difference who you put in the team. As long as you, I think it's the most important thing now is get them in their positions where they're good at, right? And let's move on and get some points. Tell's in there, is he?
Yeah, but no Richarlison, but Tell starts.
Who is it? I can't see. It's too small.
The team again: Vicario, Danso, Paulinia, Tell, Gray, Solanke, Porro, Sarr, Van de Ven, Souza, and Moani. So he's not playing Xavi, he's put Sarr in as well.
Well, that's all right. He knows what he's doing, hopefully. It's a match to match for me, Kate, and it's down to them to go out there and perform. I say it every week and I say it again, they need to go out and put their heart and soul into it. And if they do, they can get something out of the game. But, I mean, look, I'm not surprised Xavi's not in because he hasn't, the last few games, he hasn't lit it up, has he? So
no, and I think Crystal Palace might be quite physical and Xavi isn't the most physical player we've got. And it's a good option to have off the bench. I mean, Dermot, what do you make of that? Anything you're not happy with or you change or is it what you expected?
I think I'm very happy with it. I think as Jim said, it's round pegs in round holes, isn't it? I'm glad Sousa's getting the start. I've been saying that for the last couple of games. He should be starting. And I think it's the lineup that can go and get 3 points tonight. And maybe them 3 points will be the start of giving us a bit of confidence and trying to get out of the trouble we're in. I like the way Paulinia and Gray together in the midfield. I don't think it. I was thinking it might be a 4-3-3. I think it might be a 4-2-2-2.
Yeah, that's what I think as well, Derm. You want to know the truth?
Yeah, and I like the way Gray's back in the midfield. He's got Paulinia there, the workhorse in there doing his job. Danso and Van de Ven, I think, are a good partnership. Thank God Dragson's not playing. And then the only thing I would have put Richarlison and Solanke up front. Because I don't think Morani spent more time on the floor against Fulham or offside than he did actually hitting the ball. That's the only change I would make. Apart from that, I'm confident we're going to get a result tonight now. That's a great lineup.
Yeah, I think with what we've got, I'm not disappointed. I think it's great to see Tell get the start that he deserves, in my opinion. I know a lot of people won't agree, but I think he deserves it. Big up to Callie, who says, big up and appreciation for the panel. You're the support system we all need. Listen, we've all got to suffer together. Let's be honest. We've just all got to suffer together. We celebrate together, so we got to suffer together. And also Rob says, member for 6 months. Never thought I'd say this, but come on, you Spurs. Thank you, Rob. Appreciate that. Harry, what are your overall thoughts on the lineup? I mean, Dermot said about Moani. I thought Moani would start up front with Richie. He's gone with Solanke instead. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, do you know what? Generally happy. I'd go as far as I'm delighted, really, just to see some of the things in there. I mean, ultimately, just to use an example, Sousa in there, Tell in there. That for me is absolutely huge. It looks like I don't want to, jinx it, but Gray midfield actually playing his position. And Tudor for me, and I said the same to Frank, and I stick by it really strongly as well, that the problem was a lot deeper than the manager. And having said that, Tudor, when it comes to the lineup, my only criticism, and literally only of the 2 games, is that he's square pegs in round holes. And in that Fulham game, that was an option. That was his choice. Arsenal, we had limited resources, 2 or 3 players back for the Fulham game, and it was still square pegs and round holes. Looks different, hopefully, in this game. So, yeah, no complaints from me. I like to see what we're seeing. And I think, for example, Xavi Simons not being in there will be a huge thing, of course. But if we're being honest, the last couple of games in particular, and even throughout the season, it's not been good enough. He's shown it in patches, been really good in patches. In terms of potential, very, very big, very, very strong. But the reality is, you need to perform consistently to play in the situation we're in. And there's comments, split opinion about Simons. What I will say to the flip side of that is Simons, out anybody in the Spurs team, I believe is the most capable, has it in him the most to unlock a defence. If you said to me, Harry, who do you want to take on Palace? Who's going to cause Palace problems? It would be Xavi Simons. He's that creative spark, if you like. But the spark that's only lighted, a few times a year isn't good enough, if we're being honest. As for Gallagher, I think it's been a walk-and-talk disgrace since we signed him. And even worse, he's been hung out to dry on the wing. At right midfield, never played there in his career. He shouldn't play there ever again. But overall on the team, I'm happy. And there's a lot more balance about it. And Sousa, for example, brings balance. So we have balance in there. Harsh on Richarlison, but generally all round, I'm happy with that team.
I think having the option of Richarlison and Xavi on the bench, though, gives us a different dynamic. I also think I think it was Daniel said there's no creativity. I think we've got to rely on Tell. I think Sarr, he can bomb forward. You've got Porro back. I'm pleased with the lineup. I feel better having seen the lineup than I did before. So I'm actually reasonably confident. Big up to Jess, big up to Bobby K, Evening Potato Stew. Please smash a like, everyone coming in. Appreciate you joining us.
Someone asked if you can read the team out again, Kate.
Yeah, the team again is Vicario in goal, Danso, Paulinia, Tell, Gray, Solanke, Porro, Sarr, Van der Ven as captain, Sousa and Moani. And then we've got Kinski, Austin, Xavi, Basuma, Richarlison, Gallagher, LOSC, Kieran Martin and Rosewell on the bench. Jimbo, a bit of a stat for you here. West Ham have only lost just 1 in their last 5, and yet Opta predicts them as a 52.72% chance of going down. They're the favourites according to Opta, with Forest being 29.2 and Spurs being just 8% chance of going down. Is this a case of Opta just thinking it's Spurs? We're this big club that's established in the Premier League and we're not used to finding ourselves in this position, because our form, we're the bottom in the form table. If we started the season 10 games ago, we would be rock bottom. So
I think Opta's run by a Spurs supporter. So I don't know where they get that from. But look, it's a lottery, really. It's the only thing that really scares me is we was watching Forest last night and we watched West Ham last night. We was flicking between the two, and they've got fighting. But I will say the first half of West Ham, I thought West Ham looked pathetic in the first half, but they kicked in the second half. But they've got fighting, and we got to show that fight now. But I still maintain tonight is absolutely crucial to win, because we need to get that gap again. All the time we can keep that gap, we'll be all right. So we need to win tonight. It's as simple as that. There's nothing else to do, but we need to win. Otherwise it's back on the same games, and we got a 1 point. Is it a 1 point advantage over them at the minute?
Yes.
Yeah. So tonight is like squeaky bum time.
Yeah. The Palace team, I'll just share this quickly as well. They've got Henderson in goal, Munoz, Canva, Richards, Riyad, Mitchell, Adam Walton, Kamada, Ismail Sarr, Gessend and Strand Larson playing. And on the bench, they've got Benitez, Lerma, Pino, Johnson. Poor Johnson, don't even get a start. Oosh, Klein, Hughes, Sousa, Devaney. Dermot, I was listening to some Palace fans and they're saying that Brennan Johnson is the worst signing they've ever made. Poor sod, he's only been there 5 minutes. Anyone there in the Palace team that makes you nervous, and what's your thoughts on Johnson? Did we have a lucky escape, do you think?
I think we pulled Palace pants down. I think we've done well. We've gotten back from them not selling Eze to us. You want sell Eze. Here's a brilliant player. We give you Brennan Johnson. fantastic. Scored the goal apparently in the Europa League final. Can skin a man. Can turn up at the back post. Yeah, he ended up at Palace and look at them, think, Jesus, who's this person? Yeah, we bought his brother Bob. Players who, for me, Wharton for me in the midfield. Strand Larsen's been on good form since he moved to Palace, actually from Wolves. Mitchell for me, I think Mitchell, wasn't it when we did that was the last game we won was against Palace, but I thought that night Mitchell played very well down the wings that night. I think he was one of the players that was outstanding for Palace. And tonight we've got to stop the Palace wing backs getting down the wings. That's Sousa's and Porro's problem. They've got to be up there, back them up. Don't let them have the space. You give Mitchell and the other wing back the space, they will bury us down the wings. We've got to back up, back them up. But yeah, Strand Larsen, Kamara as well in midfield with Wharton, Sarr as well. This Palace is a good team. And all they need is a win tonight. If Palace win tonight, they're safe. So there's a lot of incentive for them. And that worries me. With what happened last night and the Tottenham players, psychologically, what's that made them? Is that going to give them the fight to come out all guns blazing? Or will it have the opposite effect and make them even more scared of losing? And that's my worry. That is my big psychologically how they are, and especially with the manager as well, how they're going to cope with tonight. But yeah, Palace go in there with knowing we get a win, we're safe. And that's dangerous. And there's a lot of good players in that Palace side.
Can you see that? Can you still see the team?
I can see the Spurs team.
Yeah, good. Oh, it said on my screen it's not showing, but big up to Lady Webb, says you four fantastic, balanced and top fans. Thank you. We try. It's not always the easiest to do these. Well, they're not even called pump ups anymore, but just to try and get up for the games is not always the easiest.
This is a panic session.
Yeah. Harry, there's been obviously Conte called it out all them years ago, saying this club, the pressure and all that, saying that our players and whatnot don't handle pressure very well. And so far, he's been proven right. But this is proper pressure tonight. Do you see anyone in that team that's going to stand up and say, we've got to do this and grab them by the scruff of their necks, if you like?
No. And that's the issue. That's the issue. Someone asked me the other day, who's your favourite Spurs player? And I went back and thought 3 or 4 years ago, when someone asked me that question, I was probably younger and more like energetic, but I could give you 10 players very easily that I loved, and it would be difficult to decide between them. And I sat and thought the other day, I thought, let me get back to you on that one. Seriously, is that difficult? Nobody for me is representing what the club is about. Ultimately, I know a lot of issues are not to do with the players. I totally get that. I have my own opinions. I look at upstairs, and when you've got a failing regime, it's like when you have a roof falling down. I'm going to look up to the roof. I'm not going to try and blame anything else. But ultimately, the players have to step up to that. There's no sugarcoating it. I completely agree with what Dermot said there. I think it's absolutely spot on in terms of win for Palace means they're really secure. So there is motive. A team struggling for confidence, but you've got to motivate them if you're Palace. Just say, look, you win this, you're okay. But for us, it's a must-win. And I know this is an overused term amongst us fans, overused term in football, but this really is, because a win would be huge. Going back to what we were, 4 points, looking a lot better. It's just about confidence. I feel like if we get 1 win, then there's more confidence in the group that we can go and get 2 wins, 3 wins. Because at this moment, I really struggle to see where we are going to win games. But when you get one, like with goals, you get a goal, they start to flow. And for Tudor, I think it has to be a win as well. So players need to step up to the table. I do worry where creativity comes from. Of course, that's an obvious thing to say. But yeah, we need to see fight. We need to see fight. That's the main thing. We need to go for it. We need to be brave. And, let's say something bad goes wrong, like we go behind early, we need to try and claw it back and stop being defensive and try and go for it. It's theirs to do at the end of the day. So, but also, a lot of people say the fans have got to be with the players. The fans have been there all year, right? And I've said, been guilty of saying it before the game, that the fans, we have to be the 12th man. The fans can't do much more. Very little to get behind. It's been the case all season. The fans have been there. They've been there. Despite what people say, despite what people think, the away fans in particular have been absolutely fantastic. But even at home, it's been okay. I think it will be okay tonight. But even bearing in mind, the last home game was the North London derby. So when the club are light and Tudor's like, the fans have got to get up for this. Just got spanked 4-1 there by your biggest rivals. It's very, very difficult for the fans. And I know that they'll be there. The players have to do their job. job at the end of the day. They're certainly paid enough. They're treated well enough. They have to get on with the job because we're more than capable of beating this Palace side. Yes, I think the Palace have got better players. If I'm honest with you, I do think they've got better players, but we should have the fight. We really should have the fight. And we've sold the dream that the stadium will be a fortress, anything but. It's the worst thing possible to play in the stadium. We haven't won a league game in 2026. We haven't won at home since the 6th of December. We beat Brentford 2-0. We have to change these type of damning statistics. It's really, really bad, whatever you look at it. We are factually the worst side of the league in 2026, and that's going on for 2 and a bit months now. We have to put a stop to it, and it starts by winning tonight.
Yeah, I completely agree. Moondog says we had better players when we went down in 77. If you go back and look at some of the teams that have gone down, the players that went down with them are unbelievable. So we all know that you can't be too good to go down. But thank you for
I don't think it's a good team. I don't think it's as good as we think either, unfortunately.
Yeah. Big up to the over 1,000 people watching. Please do smash a like and subscribe on whatever channel you're watching on because it does help. Jimbo, Harry's come out with something a little bit controversial there. He said he thinks Palace have got better players than us. Now, I was going to say, when the Palace team come out, I was going to say, if you put those two on paper, I'm picking the Tottenham team all day long. I think we've got better players. I just think we're really bereft of confidence. Do you agree? Or, I mean, I know.
No, I agree. I think you've been a little bit harsh there, Harry. They've got some good players. I'm not going to take that away. But I think overall, we've got a better team. But I just think that they don't seem to fight this team, do they? But maybe tonight's the turning point. You know, if you had the two teams together, I would pick our team. And I'm not saying that because it's Tottenham, you know, but if you put the Arsenal team next to ours, I would still pick ours because it's Arsenal. But
well, that's just silly.
They got the better team, obviously. But I think we have got the better team. But they need to come out fighting. It's at home. They're going to have the crowd behind them. It's going to be a full house, I would imagine, tonight because it's so important. And they need to come out with their tails in the air and go at them straight away. You know, I think Richie's going to be a big thing tonight. I think he's going to come on and really do well. I think I'm looking at Richie as a sub that's going to really turn up for us tonight.
Dermot, oh God, I forgot what I was going to say. So I'm just going to ask you the same question that Jimbo just asked. On paper, if someone offered you Palace or Spurs squad, which one are you taking?
I take ours. Technically, on paper, we've got the better squad than Palace. Yeah, Palace may have good players, but technically, if you look at the squad we have, I think it's a better squad on paper. I think the one thing Palace are better at than us is the fight and determination and their willingness to battle and their willingness to get into trenches. Where this Tottenham side, how badly it has been put together, let's not get away from that. It's been badly put together over many of years under Johan Lang and probably a little bit from Paratici and Enoch not backing any manager. But on paper, we do have the better squad. But these players don't know how to fight. Palace have been down here before. They know how to fight. Forest know how to fight. And West Ham knows how to fight to get out of trouble. If this was for top 4 or going into a European place, we have experience of doing that. We'd be able to do that. But this is totally different. And the team that went down in 77, though it was the year I was born, I was only a few months old when we went down. So really, I have seen relegation, but I just can't really remember anything of it. That team fought until the very end to that season. They gave it their all. And there was players like a young Glenn Hoddle, Stevie Perriman, our greatest ever captain, went down with that team. Pat Jennings, the greatest goalkeeper, I think, in Tottenham, apart from Bobby Smith. Pat Jennings probably is the second best or one of the best Tottenham goalkeepers, went down with that team. And they fought and they came back up. What worries me, if we did go down, would these players have the bottle to get us back up again? And that worries me because I can guarantee you have this team. First thing after the season ends, the next day, transfer requests will be flying in left, right, and centre. I want to go. I want to go. I want to go. And that worries me. So, look, I would take my team all day long, Kate. But But the Palace team has the fight where we won't, and that worries me. But hopefully I'm proven wrong tonight. Hope this team comes out. And one player that would fight for us, I think, is Van de Ven and Paliunia. I think they would put a shift in, and I think Tell would as well, to be honest. They're the three players, I would say, that would put a shift in.
Big up Moondog saying 73 in here. That's over on Kate and Jimbo, and only 8 likes. That is worse than Mawani. Come on, smash the like button on here and on We Are Tottenham TV, please. And big up Potato Stew. No, harmless potatoes. Sorry, potatoes everywhere. Saying being a member for 12 months. Harry, you was going to come in with something there.
I was just going to say, if you don't mind, quickly to push back on what both Jimbo and Dermot said there. In my honest opinion, I think that Palace's team is not just a little bit better. I think it's a lot better. And I want to back this up by just making endless comments from myself isn't helpful. So I'll back it up. I'd have Henderson over Vicario. I'd have Mitchell over Sousa. I'd have Munoz over Porro. I'd have Wharton over any of our midfielders currently fit. Definitely get Ever Gustafsson in the team. I think Sarr gets in there too. Strand Larson over any of our strikers. So that's already 3/4, if not more, of the team. And that is just my honest opinion. What I will say, when everyone's fit, the Madisons, the Kulusevskis, is a slightly different conversation. I completely acknowledge that. But the players that are just fit, I think it's the worst squad in the league. But I will say what Dermot says in particular is right about the fight in terms of, yes, Palace have been here, but also the fight. Because Wolves squad, I don't think is very good, but they've got fight about them. If you watch them play, the ball goes out to play a lot from their own passes. I mean, look at the mistake from Bellegarde. It literally gifted it to Liverpool. Completely, I've never seen a pass that bad for a long, long time. They are bad. So Dermot's right with that with the fight. I just don't think, unfortunately, that even 11 out tonight, it's a lot better lineup. Or if we use a worse lineup like against Fulham, I don't think that team's very good. I see the 11 that Forest put out, the 11 that Palace put out, Brighton put out, and I think that's a little bit better than ours. But that's just my opinion. I know we've been hit by injuries.
Obviously, a massive thing tonight is if we do win, which please God we do, we will go above Leeds United, which is huge because I've got to be honest, Jim, Leeds aren't really talked, haven't really been talked into the relegation conversation of late, and yet if we win, we go above them. How important is that, do you think? Because that puts another place between us and the relegation.
It's massive, Kate. It's massive tonight. I can't stress you. This is the most important game of our season tonight. Right? It is absolutely huge that we get these 3 points tonight to keep that gap and to move above Leeds. Leeds have got, I think, the best running, but that doesn't mean anything in the Premier League anymore, does it? I mean, I'm watching Liverpool. I was watching Liverpool, and I'm thinking to myself, we can go to Liverpool and we can get something out of there. They look so disjointed at the minute. It's unbelievable. I've never seen a Liverpool team so disjointed, and it's not a one-off. You know, it's a few games this season that they've looked terrible. So this is huge. You know, we'll go into the Liverpool game with a bit of confidence and maybe get 3 points or nick a point. You know, and it's every point's crucial now. So today is really, really big. For me, it's the biggest game of the season by far.
I would say it's the biggest game since Bilbao, but then I would say it's probably even bigger than that. It's the biggest game I can remember for a long, 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 long time because we're fighting for survival. Dermot, I am going to touch on this because I feel like I've got to really. If we go down, 100% in my opinion, ENIC deserve to go down. Because this is gross neglect for the last 25 years. It's a mismatched squad made up of players bought for a pragmatic manager, players bought for an attacking manager, but it's the fans that are going to suffer. I mean, what's your thoughts at this moment in time about the board and what they've done to this club of ours?
They've dismantled anything that has been Tottenham Hotspur. We're not the club we were, and ENIC just don't care. ENIC don't give a damn about us. All they care about is the next profits coming in, or the next building they're going to build, or the hotel they're going to buy. Look, I have no problem with the NFL or with the boxing or with the concerts. A stadium stays empty half a year, so you might as well use something for it, as long as the money goes back into the football part of it. I think us as fans have to get behind change for Tottenham. I think we do have to get behind it, and we do have to let these owners know. Look, even if it did go down, ENIC are not going anywhere. Because why would ENIC sell on? They want 5 billion, and then what would they get for us? Just under 1 billion if we went down. ENIC are not going anywhere. I think, do I trust ENIC to get us back up and doing the right things? No, I don't. I don't trust them at all. And I think ENIC should have gone a long time ago. But that's down to us, isn't it? In one way, and I hate saying it, and I don't like saying it, but it's down to us fans. We should have got behind the protests a long time ago. And as much as Daniel Levy did make mistakes, Daniel Levy wasn't perfect. He did make mistakes. He got a few things right. He did get mistakes. He was also part of the problem. He never pushed ENIC back. No, if ENIC said, no, we're not spending it on that play. No, we need to spend it on that play because we need to build on of what we've done. And I think this is 25 years of it coming home to roost. And it breaks my heart to see the team like this. It really does. And this is the biggest game, I think, Kate, since the Arsenal game when we chased for Champions League.
Yeah.
I think it's as big as that. And I think this is ENIC's eggs all coming home to roost now. And the sooner they leave my football, the better.
I think that they have spent money, Kate. They've spent a lot of money. I think we're the fourth biggest spenders in the league.
Yeah, just on terrible players.
But let me finish, babe. Well, but where the neglect has been, right, is places like the recruitment, where they've recruited bad players, but the board has kept them people on, and let them carry on recruiting bad players. You know, and that's where they've been neglectful. The people they've employed and kept employing, you know, instead of just sacking them, bringing in people who can recruit, you know, and like who employs a guy that was at Villa, right, and was a flop there. They couldn't wait to get rid of him, and we take him on board, and then Villa at Arsenal. Why would we bring him in? Why? It doesn't make sense to me. Why we would bring him in? You know, and then they
Sorry.
Well, they brought this young coach in who's an Arsenal supporter, disrespecting the club on social media. It's like, you know, learn your lessons, you know. And for me, the biggest sin in this club has been the recruitment. You know, whoever's been recruiting, they should. I can't even say what I think that should be done to them. It's been terrible, the recruitment of this club. Absolutely diabolical. Go on,
Sorry, Jim, I didn't mean to cut across it. I just very quickly, I don't know if you agree, but ENIC have put non-football people to make footballing decisions, and that is the problem. We've got people. I think somebody's in there. Yeah. It's aerospace. What's aerospace got to do with football? What they should have done, and I think they did it at Liverpool years ago. Liverpool, look, Harry. Sorry, you probably remember this, but probably me, Jim, and Kate would. But Liverpool had a system. It was football people for football decisions. They had the boot room, and you know it was their job to make a decision on players, on team selection, and on whatever, and who comes next. Everyone knew their job. Footballing people were left doing football decisions. Owners were left to get the money, give it to the football people to spend it on football. They know what they're doing. We've never done that at Tottenham. It's full of non-football people, and this is what it gets you. It gets you near relegation.
We had one of the best managers in the world get us to a cup final. They sack him, right?
Yeah.
We had the best striker in the world in Harry Kane. Should have built the team around him years ago when Poch was here. Never did it. You know, it's been a shambles, an absolute shambles at this club. And maybe they're going to get what they deserve, Kate. And it is sad because the one bit of comfort I will get about going down is that the board will get what they deserve, but the fans don't deserve it in any way whatsoever. They've spent their hard-earned wages, you know. They don't earn hundreds of thousands like the footballers. You know, most of them are probably on 20, 30 grand a year, and they spend a large chunk of that on going to watch this team home and away. Yeah. And you know, they're the ones that are going to suffer. Us football fans are the ones that are going to suffer.
Harry, I know you've gone in to say something on this as well while we're on the subject.
Yeah, bubbling here, if I'm honest. I totally agree with everything that's been said, and I feel so strongly about this. And I go as far as saying that there is blood on the hands of both the board and ENIC. I think that's absolutely fair to say. And what I mean directly by that is the fact that they neglected this team in January. In any other walk of life, that's pure and utter neglect. You see something failing, lacking resources, lacking quality, and you choose to neglect it. You sign someone that you've already got. It's like having a bowl of apples and you go out there and sign another apple and go and sell, something completely different that we needed in the team in Brennan Johnson, the clinical finisher. Whatever you think of him, yes, he hasn't worked out at Crystal Palace. You've got to replace a winger when you sell someone like Brennan Johnson, who was our top scorer. We didn't replace him ultimately, and that left us with just one winger at the time. He went and got injured straight after, funny enough, in Kudus. I'm so angry at this board. I'm so angry at these owners. And this recent incident in the week, for me, is so wrong about like Arsenal supporting youth academy scout. Of course, I don't want him to support Arsenal, but we can't control that. That's not the problem here. The problem is he's openly mocking the club on several occasions.
Yeah.
He's touched the jersey. He's got a picture of him pulling a funny face on Instagram, then taunting us in stories and in replies ever since. That is on the club for the vetting. That is so poor. If me or anyone on this panel are listening mocked the place we worked, mocked whoever be our boss, whoever it may be instantly dismissed. The absolute same should be happening to him. And if I was in that position, I'd be gladly sacking him. Well, unless I appointed him, and then I'll be an absolute disgrace. So for me, every way you look at the club, whether it be Johan Lang, who's completely and utterly out of his depth, if you listen to him, I don't think he's got a clue. I wouldn't trust him with my car keys. I don't even drive. So make of that what you want. Would not trust him anywhere near at all. He'd find a way to screw it up and drop it, and I come back, there would be no car. And Fabio Paratici views Fiorentina, more attracting prospects. They're fighting a relegation battle. And they go down. They're a bottom when he joined. That's the reality. So whatever way you look at it, it's incredibly poor. Vinay says the right things. Sweet talker. Absolutely nothing to deliver on. He should be held to account for his words. You can't say these things that we want to change and nothing changes. Then great, we change the wage structure. That's what we want. On Conor Gallagher, 200k a week for Gallagher. Anyone else in this Spurs team is nothing necessarily against Gallagher, but what does he bring to the table we don't currently have? Name me one thing. I really can't. So to pay him 35 million, 200 grand a week, absolutely insane. So I'm incredibly angry. And a lot of people go, "Oh, you don't attend process." I've been there. I've been there for 2. And for me, I've got to use the platform now to start spreading the word of change. And I'm glad to say 3 or 4 times now I've had change for Tottenham representatives come on the channel, or Billy T's a regular, comes on every other week. So more than that, actually. So, fans sit here and complain, but then they go, "Oh, I don't fancy a protest." And my dad's guilty of that. If we're being totally honest, he's guilty of that. I go, "Look, there's a protest here. We've got to attend. You feel very similar to I do. I'm probably a bit stronger than you. Let's go and support." And again, it's the easy options, and get inside the stadium and etc. I could go on for ages, but there's blood on the hands, and we need change desperately.
Harry, you're not. Can I just say, Kate, you're not 100% right there, Harry. I'll tell you why. Because Kate used to work for me, and she used to mock me all the time.
I still do. Big up to Bobby K. Says, "F this, pump it up, Spurs fans. Get behind them. Negative energy will not help our team or our mental health. 2-0 today. I'm all in." The only thing I disagree on, and I'm not going to get into it too much because we've only got 10 minutes of the show left. I don't agree with blaming the fans because I just don't think personally, if I'm a billionaire and I own Tottenham, I don't care if there's 10 or 10,000 fans that are protesting. I'm not selling that club till I'm ready. So a lot of fans don't think it works, and that's their choice. What I do think they can be criticised for is if they feel that strongly, don't buy merchandise, don't buy what you want in the ground. But I don't know how we get these owners out. I think it's a case of we're gonna have to wait it out until they sell. And it's another case of better the devil you do know than the devil you don't, because everyone thought Levy was the devil, and since he's gone, things have got even worse. So look, we'll have to wait it out, but that's for another day, because all that matters today is 3 points. It's like Tudor said in his press conference, it don't matter about style, it doesn't matter about anything else. All that matters today is we get 3 points. It's not even, I said to Jimbo, it's a no lose. We can't afford to lose. But now with the results last night, we have to win. There's no other option but to win this game. And I'm feeling reasonably positive after that team lineup. Apparently, both teams are still scoring goals. Crystal Palace have scored in 10 games in a row, while Spurs have failed to score only once in their last 12. So that would suggest it doesn't feel like we score loads of goals. I've got to be honest, but the stats say that we do. So it does feel like that it could be an open game. It just depends whether someone takes the chance and does the to dare is to do, or whether they're quite cagey. Because one thing that Jason Cundy on TalkSport, who I know won't be very popular, but one thing he always says is to dare is to do. That's got to be Tottenham's worst slogan, because they do nothing. And it's very true. And I think Tudor the other day maybe tried something different. It didn't work. So I'm kind of glad that he's gone back to putting round pegs in round holes. But
you know what, Kate? Well, we beat Palace this season, right? So I don't think we'll be doing the double over anyone else, and I'm sure we're not going to go a whole season without doing the double over someone. So let's hope we do the double over Palace.
Yeah, we are getting to that point where we need to know your goal scorers and the score, please. We've already got Twisted, the Crystal Palace fan, saying this 1-1 all day long. Martin saying 2-1 to Spurs. I've got some others here. I'm sure I put a couple here. We're losing 3-0 Johnson hat-trick. Well, that will have to be a hat-trick off the bench because he isn't starting. But that's not very positive. 3-0 to the Spurs. I like it, says John. Big up Lynn Simpson. 3-0, says Demetrix to Spurs. 2-1 to Spurs. 2-1 Spurs, 2-0 if Kinski was playing. Van de Ven and Solanke goals. Come on, you Spurs. 2-0 Spurs, Porro and Tell. 1-1. Oh, God. 2-1, says Callie. What did Bobby K say there? That's it, Jim. The double's on. 2-0 Spurs, VDV and Richie. 2-0 Spurs, Bosch, says Harrison. 2-1, says Sydney. Harry, what's your prediction for this game, and who do you see scoring?
I'm not confident. I haven't been all week, but I don't have it in me to predict a loss because I know the consequences of it. So I'm going to have to try and stay clear of that. If I'm being honest with you, I do worry more about defeat. That's me the likely outcome. But to be positive, I'm going to go, and it's not positive at all, really, but it's better anyway. 1-1 draw, and that's not good enough. It has to be a win tonight, make no mistake about it. I think we'll play better because the lineup's better. And I love the midfielder, Gray and Sarr. They've been to big places, San Siro and in the North London derby. At the time when we played it a few years ago, we were in a tough place, still managed to both of them put in a really good performance. I like them. I hope they're together. But just to add in, I think he's still going to be a back three. I think he's going to go with a 3-4-2-1, if I'm honest with you, and Paulinho at centre-back. I don't want him to do that. I think it'd be catastrophic. But again, that's what I think he'll go with. So I'm going to go 1-1, but we have to win. Need to find a way. I don't care how ugly or pretty.
Wow, 1-1. Denzel says 2-1 Tell and Solanke to score. 2-2 says Vladaholic. 3-1 Palace, says Tank. Rob says 2-2. Jay Murray coming in with a great score, saying 6-1 to Spurs and Jimbo to make Kate dinner. Why are you wishing that on me? That's literally giving me food poisoning immediately. Please don't wish that on me. Tottenham 1, Palace 1. I hope I'm wrong and we win. 1-0 Palace, sorry, says Belgrade. 2-1 Spurs, Gray and Solanke to score. Dermo and Jim look like brothers. Someone else has said that. I've got to be honest. 4-1 red card Tell, says the Gooner. Just give us our first penalty and we'll take 1-0 Tottenham. Yes, exactly.
So
2-0 Spurs.
Derm's my older brother then, is he?
2-1 Spurs, Dom and Sarr. 2-0 Spurs, Gray again and Mickey. Come on, you Spurs. 2-1 says Raymond. Dermot, I'll come to you next.
Mm-hmm.
What do you fancy and who's going to score the goals?
Yeah, I'm 72, so I look well for my age. Jim's only 21, yeah. But anyway, moving on. That makes you 20 then, Kate. So it makes you a year younger.
I'll take it. I'll take
right.
it.
Do you know what? I can never bet my team to lose. Never have done. I won't now. I'm going for a 3-0 Tottenham win tonight. I'm going for Dom Solanke. I'm going for Mickey Van der Ven. And do you know what? Mateus Tell. I want him to get a goal tonight. So yeah, 3-0 Tottenham.
I like it. I'm going to do what I always do. And rather than go over my head and my heart, I'm going to give a prediction from my cat. And he says it's going to be 2-1 Palace. Bad cat. And I'm going to do a prediction for me, and I'm saying 2-1 Spurs, and I'm going to go with no, I'm not going to go with Solanke. I'm going to go with Mawani to score 1, and I'm going to go with Van der Ven to score the other. 2-1, nail-biting game, really tight. I'd love to say it's going to be 3-0 like Dermot, but I'm going 2-1. Jimbo, what about yourself? What do you fancy for this one?
I fancy it's going to be 3-1 to the mighty Spurs, who are not so mighty at the minute, but they're still the mighty Spurs in my head. I'm going to go Mawani and Solanke to score. Tell to assist both of them, very precise, and Richie to come off the bench and score to make it safe.
Okay, so 3-1. So we've all predicted a win apart from Harry's predicted a draw. So look, we cannot lose. We literally cannot lose, and a win is preferable.
But at the end of the day, I've got to stick up for Harry here. That's a fair shout because of the way we're playing.
I hope I'm wrong. That's the thing.
It could well be a draw, but them words just can't come out my mouth.
Yeah. Look, what's that? I hope you have EMT on speed call, Kate. Spurs will win. Jimbo's making dinner. Oh no. Yeah, big up the cat.
Well, I'll just get a takeaway.
He's already had his dinner anyway. Brilliant to have you on as always, Harry, and you, Dermatron. What's going on, Harry, over at Harry Scarf 2022?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. That is my YouTube channel, and I want to thank people because a lot of people listen here would have voted for me at the Football Content Award. So to be awarded Britain's Best Young Content Creator in 2025 was a huge, huge honour. And if someone said to me the other day, and again, it just feels surreal, even being said it now. But away from football as well, I do autism advocacy work, which for me is critically important at this stage right now, with a lot of autistic people being failed around the country. As a 17-year-old autistic person, this is personal. It means a lot. I also put the same passion behind my own videos. So I create football content and Tottenham content included within that on TikTok, for example, and primarily Tottenham as well on the YouTube channel, including a podcast, which big guests such as Billy T come on every other week, which is a huge, huge honour. So yeah, a lot of stuff going on. Proud to be a regular here. Got some in-studio stuff with WeAreTottenhamTV coming up in the next 60 days or so. So before the end of the year, hopefully will be a lot better situation to get the debut in person. So thank you to everyone that continues to support me. So maybe deluded, but I believe what I'm fighting for is more important.
Big up, Harry. Thank you for coming on as always. Always good to hear your thoughts. Dermatron, what's going on at THFC till we die?
Yeah, thanks again for having me on. I mean, this for me, it's been a big year coming on here and doing these pump ups. I'm really humbled and really appreciate the chance to come on here, Kate. And thanks to you and Jim for inviting me when you do for all these pump ups. I really appreciate it, and I love coming on here. Yeah, but over on THFC till we die, got watch alongs post match. We do after the whistle after every game. We've got podcasts coming out, and me and Dave probably Friday or Saturday. The return of Irish Lads Talk Spurs will be on, and then of course I will be on Kate and Jim's charity stream on Saturday at some point for a little while to give you guys some support. But great to do again with you, Harry. We must link up. We keep saying it, Harry, so we will link up and do some stuff for the end of the season. No, thank you. I don't think I am, but thank you. But yeah, thanks for having me on. Come on, you Spurs. Let's get behind the team. It's all about the team tonight.
Always welcome, Dermot. Over at Kate and Jimbo, we just hit our 2,500, which Dermot was actually one of the very first ones to get our channel going. So big up, Dermatron. But you can join us on Saturday. We're doing 12 hours, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. in aid of the Mickey Hazard's suicide prevention and mental health awareness charity, Legend on the Bench. Hoping the man himself is going to make an appearance, but there'll be lovely YouTubers all day coming in, and we'd be talking football and probably a load of nonsense at the same time. So do get over and subscribe to us, also to Harry and to Dermot. Thank you so much to everyone for watching. Big up to Moondog for the super chats, Bobby K for the super chat, Harmless Potato for being a member, Jess being a member, Rob for being a member, Callie for the super chat, Gary Ball for becoming a new member, and Drula for being a member. Enjoy the game, guys. Get behind the team. You know, at the end of the day, win, lose or draw, it is only football. Don't let it affect your mental health, really, seriously. And I mean that because me and Jim have both been there this season where it's affected us that bad, and it is only a game of football. But let's hope that we can get ourselves out of this slump, cheering on the boys, enjoy the game, and as always, everyone, Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.